Welcome to the Prospective Podcast with your hosts ULTRAMAG7 and Kotta Ranks. The Pros Perspective. The Prospective is a monthly event held in Center City, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Khyber Pass Pub. Live music, a live audience, a live conversation, culture, vibes, the Prospective.
Peace, it's your man ULTRAMAG7. Yo, back with another episode 3, featuring my main man, Phill Most Chill. This is a special one, Phill his family. So, he goes into his whole story. There's much more to cover, but, he touched on some things. Very good episode. A lot of interesting history in this episode. So, definitely tap in, check us out. As always, me and Kotta Ranks, we are here at the Khyber Pass in Philadelphia every month. Follow the page, the.prospective.podcast. Tap in, check us out, follow our YouTube page. You can see video footage from the actual event. And, we're going to keep on coming with episodes. So, we stop being long-winded and let's get straight to the episode.
Is the Prospective Podcast. This is what Ranks. What is this episode?
Episode 4, 3,
3. Yeah,
Three.
yeah.
Episode
Mr.
3.
Lynn, Jazz Soon.
That's right.
I'm not gonna say his name yet. They can probably already see it, but we'll give him a proper intro
for sure.
But little housekeeping. All day we've been listening to the music of my main man, DJ Kotta Ranks.
Appreciate it.
Give it up for Kotta Ranks, y'all. Come
Appreciate
on.
it.
Please,
Appreciate it. Thank
please.
you.
Got to give it up to my main man over here, Bug, who's every man. He does everything. He does everything.
He wears many hats.
He wears many hats. So
Give it up for that man. That's right.
Give it up for Bug. And give it up for the sound man.
Sound
a man
man,
named
Steve.
Steve.
Comes through in the clutch.
That's right.
Thank you,
That's
Steve.
Say what we need.
That's
Appreciate you,
Yeah.
Steve.
Jay, the audiophile, was here, but he left.
Yeah,
Give it up
salute,
for Jay.
Salute. Yes, sir.
There you
Salute.
go.
Yeah.
I actually ran into him on the way coming in. Too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Jay's the one that got us up in here.
Yes,
and
he did.
No, but listen, I'm drinking. What am I drinking right here? I'm drinking Slow Melt. That's our sponsor.
I got a slow melt too.
Beer.
Half acre beer.
Slow Melt. Bug, what you drinking?
The blue can. It's the blue can.
We just call it the blue can.
Yeah, it's the blue can.
Reef now. We call Reef now.
Yeah.
In Philly, we call it the blue can. He's drinking the blue can. So, and then, thank you to the Khyber Pass. It's the third time
Thank
we're
you.
here hosting us.
Yes.
So, that's just a little housekeeping we have to do. But let's get into it. Let's get into the hip hop. So, the man that's across from me, it's weird when I really think about it. I've been following this guy's career for a long time. It's been in and out, and it's been in many different places. And listen, he's very prolific, so we're not going to get to everything, but I'm going to hit some highlights that did it for me. But this guy is a hip hop. Everything that is hip hop is this guy. He's a Renaissance man.
He really is.
He does it all, and he does it all well.
Yep.
We are going to get into a little bit of his story, have a little fun, get some information, and we're going to get in a little bit of this, but we might be band members, but we'll get into that a little bit later.
Uh-huh.
But without further ado, my main man, Phill Most Chill. Give it
Most
up
Chill.
for Phill Most Chill.
Yeah. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah.
Appreciate your presence.
There you go. So, well, he said what I wanted to say, Phil. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure for sure.
We talked about this. We're getting to the day that we had a couple months back. But you and I were driving through the city, and I said, "Yo, Phil, would you be interested in doing a little something?" You were like, "Yo, just let me know time, place," and you were here. So
Absolutely.
Me, Kotta Ranks,
Absolutely.
everybody. We thank
Appreciate
you,
you.
brother.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta love it. I come in here, I hear my music nonstop. What's not to love?
Right.
There you go. Listen, Kotta Ranks plays the music of the guest. And we want you to feel welcome
Yep.
at home, and So first thing I want to start with, I want to congratulate you. I saw yesterday on your retirement.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Congrats,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah.
Congrats. That's huge.
I am ecstatic
Yeah.
to be done with my volunteered slavery.
Right.
So
right.
yeah, so hopefully now I'll be living the good life. I got big plans. I still feel good
Right.
for an old man. And life starts, or the next chapter anyway, starts right now, man.
Right.
So let's go.
So I mean, you don't have to get into it, but you working for the city of
Oh yeah, I'll
Philadelphia?
tell you. Yeah,
Okay,
I work for the water department, city of Philadelphia.
Okay.
As a land surveyor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and worked my way up the ranks. Started very low, and then over the years moved all the way up to where I was second in command of a office of about 50 people.
Okay.
And we handled all the sewer, the water, all the green infrastructure in the city.
Okay.
And it was a very nice job. Had ups and downs, but overall it was a great job, man.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad to be done with it.
Okay. Well,
Congrats on that.
we want to thank you for your service
Uh-huh.
for the city of Philadelphia. So appreciate you, and it's crazy that we're, we always, I don't know how you do, Ranks, I don't know how you do, but I always still see myself as that little child. So to us to get to this point to be like, yo, we're retiring, like,
No,
you know what I mean?
Listen, I couldn't even fathom it.
Right.
If I could have, I would have done things a lot differently as far as planning and investing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I did all right, but I would have got started a lot earlier.
Right.
But back when I was young, I couldn't see it, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it. I couldn't even imagine getting that old and any of that. But it happens real quick, real quick.
Thank you for your service, and I'm happy to see that you reached that age of retirement.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to start out with kind of what's going on currently, and so I know you've got an album with M-Rock, DJ M-Rock.
Yes,
That's
sir.
my main man. It's
Yes,
called
sir.
M-Rock. Hey, I'm here to say my age ain't nothing but a number. Cool as a cucumber. I'm Jordan in the 80s playing against plumbers. I'm confident with it, can't feel the pressure I'm under. I'm the one who jacked Thor for his hammer, stole his thunder.
So I want to know is how'd you get hooked up with M-Rock?
Okay, to be honest, M-Rock could probably tell you better than me. My memory's so bad, but I believe he got with me to be on the album he did with Nordic One.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's how it started. And from there, and then M-Rock just a cool dude,
Right? Yeah.
And got so many dope beats. And it's like, of course. And then you say Chuck D,
Right.
Am I not going to be on it? Yeah, of course I'm going to be on it. Yeah. So but it's been great working with M-Rock as well as C-Doc. And I hope we can do more work in the future, man.
Okay, they treating you good over there at Spit Slam because I know some people over there. I can.
You
pull
in
some strings.
good with them. So they treat me great, man. I got no complaints whatsoever.
Okay, they ain't treating you right. I could, I talk to somebody. I get some S1Ws.
Okay.
I get something. We're gonna get this out of the way because they may not know. You and I know, and you brought up the name Chuck D. But another project is out now, and it's something special to both of us. It's Enemy Radio.
With an effective radiated power of 31,600 watts
Radio Armageddon.
Yes, sir.
Can
yes,
you
sir.
talk about? So, all right, let me just set this up. Enemy Radio is like the DJ MC arm of what Chuck D does, of Public Enemy. It's so, there was the first Enemy Radio album. Currently now is the second one. It's called Radio Armageddon, and it's produced by my man C-Doc. And C-Doc brought in people. It's a Chuck D solo album, but there's a lot of guest appearances. You're on it. They dusted me off. I don't know how they dusted me off. I'm on it, but talk about how you got involved with it, how you feel about it, like what it was, what it's like.
Yeah, and by the way, you rocked it on your joint for sure, man, for sure.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah, I believe C-Doc approached me with it. Again, if I'm wrong, if it was M-Rock, might have been M-Rock, might have been C-Doc, but I think it was C-Doc who approached me with the idea and asked me, did I want to? I'm pretty sure it was C-Doc. He said, do you want to get on this track with Chuck D? And again, it's like. Say less. When do we do this?
Right.
So, then they gave me the track for Road Running. And, I tried to figure out, okay, how am I going to do this? Am I going to do it like Chuck did it? And I said, no, let me do my own thing to it. And, just as you know, I'm sure you feel the same way. It's a huge honor to be on a project with somebody like a Chuck D. Chuck is like, he's probably, he's one of my top hip hop heroes for sure. For sure. It takes a nation to
hold us back.
Yeah, it takes a nation of millions. That was a life-changing album for me. You know what I mean? As was Yo Bum Rush the Show, as was Fear of a Black Planet. But to be on a record with Chuck D is like that's one of the greatest things I could do. So totally an honor.
Yeah, it's so it was kind of, obviously you make music, you've been making music, and for me being pulled into it, the way it happened was, I'm on so now I think when you were on the show on It's C-Doc again, I wasn't a part of the show then.
Right, you weren't on it yet.
So, but I was watching.
Okay.
So I was a fan of it. So then as I got a part of the show, C-Doc pulled me in. So he was like, I'm working on an album. I want you to be on a song. Now, Phil, I ain't wrote a rhyme since Jesus left Chicago. Like my pen was dusty. So I'm like, okay, I'll be on a song just to like pay you back for being on the show, talking to my hip hop heroes and stuff like that. And so I did a song with him. He was like, he liked it. But it took a lot because I'm like, yo, man, I'm fat. I got no breath control. I ain't wrote rhymes. I'm hat, cat, rat, bat. Like, so then I think it was maybe less than a month later. He's like, yo, if I send you a track, how long is it going to take you to get around together? I'm like, bro, same thing. Fat, no breath control. He's like, it's for Chuck D. I'm like, you need it tomorrow?
That's right.
What you,
That's right.
So that was my whole thing. And I'm like, I'm going to do a song with my hero, Chuck D. Wow. Yeah, bro. It's like, so actually, so what's funny, this is maybe a few months back, and obviously, Ranks, you were there, Bug, you were there. Yep. We got to hang out. Actually, Phil, you picked me up.
That's
you picked
right.
me up down the street.
That's right.
And we had a day.
Yeah, we did.
It was a day for sure.
We were guided by DJ Too Tough all through North Philly.
My man.
All through the Badlands. Places that have been gentrified and places we shouldn't be now.
Right.
In Kensington and Fishtown.
Yeah.
But it was great. Really, I was just meeting Ranks and Bugs, so it was good to build with them.
Yep.
Okay.
Good to meet you.
Absolutely.
And that was I really loved that day. We had a great day.
It was a great day, man. It's just so much fun meeting up with you, meeting up with C-Doc, meeting up with Too Tough. Too Tough, that's my guy, man. That's my guy.
Yeah.
So just a great day. It was unseasonably warm that day, and I'm like sweating like a pig and everything. But it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun, man.
And one thing I got to say to you, it's funny because like when you picked me up and we got to the spot, and we're surveying the spot. It's funny you say you're a land surveyor. We're surveying the spot, and you were like, yo, what are you doing with them? I'm like, I do videos and I showed you the video, that I did.
Yeah.
And then I think, but I was there just like you were. We're going to do video footage. And then you didn't know I rapped on the album. And then when they played it and you were like, oh, that's you.
Right.
And you were like, yo, that's dope. Yo, Phil, you did. Bro, you put the battery in my back. You made me feel so good.
That's what's up. Oh no, but and that was real because I had heard the track. I didn't know who it was on the track.
Right.
I'm like, because you listen to it and certain ones stick out in your mind. Then I'm like, I'm listening. Oh, okay, no, that's dope. And then you said that's you. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So
man.
you made an old guy feel good, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I might keep on rhyming now. Do something. Because listen, I hadn't rhymed in seriously 20 years.
That's what you told me.
Not
That's what you
rhymed in
told
20
me.
years. So thank you for that, sir.
All right, so you back now though, right?
Oh, bro, we
That's
back.
that's
we
right.
back. We gonna
That's
talk
right.
about that. We are back.
Let's get into it.
We are back. So speaking of back, let's go back now. Now that we caught up what's going on now, let's go back. So let's get into your early days. I know there's some Connecticut in there. Like, where were you born at?
I was born here in Philly.
Okay.
But my mom moved away. She broke up with my father and moved to Connecticut.
Okay.
When I was like about 4 years old.
Okay.
So all through my school years, I lived in Connecticut, and it was Norwalk, Connecticut, which is like right outside of New York.
Yeah.
So we're like, I feel like as much of a New Yorker as people from like Strong Island and Jersey. I feel just as much. It's all the New York area, the tri-state area. So that's so that kind of tells you what I'm about as far as hip hop goes too. So I grew up on that.
Right.
I didn't really grow up on Philly hip hop. That was like afterwards, and I grew to appreciate that later. But yeah, I grew up on I went to hip hop parties before there was any records. So I go back that far.
Okay.
Now I was very young now.
Yeah.
I was very young, but yeah, no, I remember it before it was on records. I was surprised when I heard Sugar Hill Gang. It was like, whoa, are they putting this on records now? Really? I couldn't even fathom it. I didn't think it was something that you could put on records. Because, you got dudes who are like, they look like they just got off the corner drinking a 40, and you're talking about them making a record? No, people who make records is Earth, Wind, and Fire. And people like that who wear all the elaborate outfits and everything and play instruments. You're going to put this dude who was just on the corner drinking a 40 on a record? It's like, I couldn't see it. But then after Sugar Hill Gang came out, it's like, okay, yeah, this is something. So, so that's my background. It's definitely from Connecticut. And right outside of the Bronx.
Yeah, what's that song? Grandmaster Flash. What is that? A gang? Like,
oh, right.
You remember the song? See, speaking of Connecticut, you know the song by Pookie Blow. Get up.
Oh
and
yeah,
go to
yeah,
school?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So work that body, jerk that body, or work that body to the beat. So to work that body, jerk that body, and work that body like a freeze. When you work that body and jerk that body, you get on up and you move. Some 12 years old, the nigga Pookie Blow, so get on up and go to.
Man, I try to know something about every little area, but I remember that song, Get Up to Go to School with Pookie Blow, and I think there was a Mr. Magic in Connecticut. Yeah. Obviously, Steezo later, but
Right.
Yeah, but back in those early days, there were a few Connecticut records. Rappin' Zooty and Sickle Cell, I think, was one that was really popular back then. I think some of the other ones that people know about now, they weren't as popular, like Pookie Blow. Nobody was playing Pookie Blow really that I know of. Right. But there were a few other records. And we had our own scene too of DJs and MCs. There's a DJ White Flash who was like a legend in Connecticut back in those days. So yeah, but it all came from what was happening in the Bronx.
Right. So were you getting like tapes from the Bronx, or were people coming to Connecticut to perform? Like, were you seeing people?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Now I didn't get that many tapes. I got a couple maybe here and there, but it was hard getting those tapes. Even for people back then who were like from Queens or Brooklyn or whatever. Right. This was all like an uptown Bronx thing. So those tapes were hard to get, you know, if you weren't in the Bronx. So I had friends who had tapes, but I didn't have that many. But at the community center, it was right around the corner from where I lived, where I worked, where my mom worked. We got Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 came through, Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, Cold Crush Brothers, Funky 4. And yeah, I remember as a youngster seeing the Funky 4 up on top of they got up on top of the lunch tables that we used in the gym at the community center. And they performed on the lunch tables, you know what I mean? So so like I said, we got, even though we weren't in the Bronx, we got like the trickle down or whatever you want to call it from what was happening in New York, right where I was at.
Okay. So, all right, so that's what's going on in Connecticut. How do you make your way to Pennsylvania?
Okay. Well, see, the whole thing is my family is from Philly. Like I said, I was born here in Philly. So what happened, unfortunately, my mom got sick. And she wanted to go back home and be with her family.
Right.
And I was done with school and everything. So it's all right. It's time to pull up and go back. And that's how I ended up back in Philly.
Okay. Was there any stopovers? Like was there like a Harrisburg or something like that?
Nah, you did your homework.
No,
huh?
come on, brother. Come on. You know you're dealing with.
Yeah. So what happened? Like I said, my mom had gotten sick. So I'm like, at the time, I'm pretty much a juvenile delinquent. I wasn't a bad kid or anything, but I wasn't doing good either. So I went to live with my uncle in Harrisburg. And that's where I hooked up with my man, Scratchmaster Rob. He couldn't be here today. Yeah. But he's straight from the Bronx, B-boy from the Bronx. And I was walking down the street one day in Harrisburg, and I had a box, and I was playing Apache. He heard that. He hadn't heard that since he left the Bronx. He's like, all right, that's my man right there. So we hooked up, and then, make a long story short, I had already been starting to rhyme a little bit when I was in Philly with my cousin Russ Ace. And we were just playing around. We were just trying to figure it out. We didn't know if we were serious about it or not. Right. But when I got with Rob in Harrisburg, that's when we started really getting down. I went and bought some turntables. He would go out and we do like breakdance battles and stuff while I'm carrying my box and started taking it more serious. You know what I mean? I learned how to cut from him. He showed me how to cut on the 2 turntables. And that's when really started getting deep into hip hop as a thing of, might be able to really do this, to go from being a fan to being somebody who actually can really do it.
Okay.
And my time in Harrisburg was only for like about a year and a half. Then I went back to Philly and been here since.
But I heard in Harrisburg you used to write. You was getting up a little bit.
Well, you got all the info.
I heard you was in the paper. Or
you got all the info. Yeah, man. Yeah. So again, I'm with Rob, B-boy from the Bronx. You know all the elements of hip hop. Graffiti is one of them. So again, and this is when Wild Style had come out and all that, and you got all the graffiti rock and Style Wars and all that. So like hip hop is starting to blow up globally now. So that inspired us as well. So we started racking up Rust-Oleum, Krylon, and we just bombed the city. We bombed all of Harrisburg. Yeah. To the point that we made the front page of the New York of the newspaper there. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it was.
What'd you write? What was your name?
At that time, it was Hornet.
Okay.
He was Kato and I was Hornet.
Oh. Like Kato, my rhyme's the Green Hornet. You know you want it.
And listen, this is what we would do.
Nice, crazy.
This is what we would do. We would put on all black karate suits.
Right. Right.
And Russ knows. Yeah. We put on all black karate suits and get on these bicycles with bags of paint and just ride around the city, hitting up everything, just bombing the whole city. It was and not only did we have the black karate suits, we had little masks like the Green Hornet and Kato.
Right.
Yeah. So we were bugging. But it was fun. It was criminal activity, but it.
That's ill.
But we did that.
Kato and Hornet.
At the time, I wasn't even thinking about elements. Yeah, this is just what we do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, you know, the whole thing about elements that came later when they start talking and saying it's this, you got to do this, you got to do that. There's a lot of people who say graffiti really is not a part of hip hop. It's its own thing, but it's all what we were just doing, just naturally. You know?
Right. You know, everybody always talks about, you know, you talk about your MC and they talk about MC influences and they talk about people that made records. But was there anybody around like your neighborhood that like was an influence to you that you saw a style or somebody you rhyme with that, you know, you really got down with?
Nobody in my neighborhood that like, you mean as far as somebody I was taking cues
like,
from
but like somebody like an A, like, you know, besides, you know, Rob, like somebody, you know, you might have had a battle with somebody or something like that. Like somebody.
No, I can't say because I didn't really battle with people when I was doing it back then. So I can't really say there was, you know what I mean?
So it was just really on you, on like your own, like kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. It was me and Rob and we had another dude, MC Daz from Brooklyn, who also rocked with us.
Okay.
And then when I was in Philly, it was Russ Ace, and we just got together. And that was it. It wasn't really no battling. It wasn't really nobody locally who I got anything from, to be honest.
That's
the people I looked to were people, honestly, it was Grandmaster Caz. It was Melly Mel. It was Kool Mo D. You know what I mean? It was Grandmaster Flash.
Right.
Those were the people.
Yeah.
Other than that, and then later it was people like when I started to understand Philly hip hop and see how great the DJs were, then it was people like Cash Money.
Mhm.
Then it was people like Jazzy Jeff.
Right.
Because I mean, just the greatest of the great. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
Wow, that's it's crazy because like when I was a kid, I thought that rappers were just birthed. Seriously, call me stupid, whatever. I'm like, yo, Run came out of the womb. He
Right.
was rhyming.
Right.
DMC
right.
came out of the Tila Rock. They came out of the womb rhyming.
Right.
And I remember we had this we had like a rec center. This had to be like 84. And there was this guy named Russ outside. And he said this rhyme. It blew my mind because number one, I'm like, how is that possible? And number two, like he just said the illest thing. He said something. I took a daughter and their mother, put them both together and they each other. I said,
Okay.
wait, what?
What?
I'm like, bro, this is 80. I'm like, yo, number one, how is that possible? That's just too ill. But that like blew my mind. So like, he was the first rapper that I saw.
Okay.
And I wasn't even thinking about rapping. I was just like, oh, somebody besides Run DMC and the Fat Boys is rapping. And Curtis Blow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like so my intake of hip hop is different.
Yeah, well, I will say this. When I was coming up, before I even thought about trying to rhyme myself, there were dudes in my neighborhood who were dope. There was one crew I used to do flyers for, the Townhouse Gangsters, THG, and they were dope. They could have made records.
Wow.
They were that good. I remember they did a routine they did one time to Tata Vega's song. I think "Treat Yourself to My Love," I think it was, and they rocked it. It could have been a record, you know what I mean? And there's another group called the King Boys who was in Connecticut as well. What's that? Incorporated Funk. Nah, where from? Nah, I don't remember them. Well, I had a tape of them. Okay, you remember better than me, man. I remember the King, because I went to school with the King Boys and I went to school with THG, Townhouse Gangsters. Yeah, I don't remember them. You still got the tape? I'm going to check that out.
Wow. Yeah, because I'm always interested in like groups and like the influences and people that you seldom hear. Like everybody, oh, well, Rakim and Chuck D and
Right.
but who was around the way? So I love hearing that. You know,
Right.
the influences and people like that.
Yeah, most of my influence were the big name people for the most part, but
Right. Okay. So at this time, you're making tapes at home. You're making home tapes, or are you recording?
Yeah, and that's at this stage, that's what we're doing. Either in Harrisburg, we made tapes. It would be Scratch Master Rob. At that time, he was just Master Rob, and also my man Jolly Rock, who he made some records later that I worked with him on too. And he would DJ for Rob would DJ for me and the kid I told you about, MC Daz,
Right.
and Jolly Rock would DJ for me and Russ. So we had a few different little things going around that time.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is the beginning stages of trying to become MCs and trying to make music.
So is the Devastating 2, is that the first kind of group thing you're doing, or recording, like trying to record, or?
All right, so again, my man MC Daz, we had the Sure Shot too.
Okay.
With Master Rob. And again, we're just doing tapes in bedroom tapes. But then after I moved back to Philly, me and Russ started doing Devastating 2 stuff.
Right.
And we're just recording in the house. But we're like, yo, we're trying to get serious with this. You know what I mean? We try to finally figure out, okay, let's not just play around. Let's really do this. And we had a show going back to Harrisburg. And at the show was Hashim from Cutting Records. And who else was there? Wiz Kid was there. Who else was on that? Russell Divine. Was Divine Sounds on that bill too? Or Captain Rock? Okay. Yeah, it was a bunch of people were there. And we headlined the show. We were first ones. We got top billing for some reason too. I don't know why we got top billing on the flyers. But we set the show off, and it was kind of a disaster. I think we got sabotaged by somebody because the sound check was beautiful. Then when we got up on stage, the monitors weren't working, and we heard two different beats. So we're trying to rap to two different beats. We thought, all right, let's just choose one. It's the wrong one. So it was bad. And then, the crowd starts going off on us, and we were getting ready to start throwing down with the audience. We were about to jump into the crowd and start fighting with people. But we calmed it down. But we showed enough during that show that Hashim signed us to Cutting Records.
Right.
Yeah. So we and that was a great experience, just going up there to New York and going to Aldo's house, first of all, one of Hashim's partners at Cutting Records, and then going into the studio, which was, we had never been in the studio before. We didn't know what that was about.
Right.
And it was just an incredible experience just to see how all that was done. And record never came out, unfortunately, because we also learned about, record label politics and stuff.
Right.
I won't get into all that, but it never came out, but it still was a fantastic experience.
Right. Okay, shout out to Russ, who's in the place.
In the building.
Devastating too. Shout out to Russ. So what year was that? Like what year?
1985.
85.
Okay. Yep.
So after that experience, you obviously weren't discouraged. You kept.
Oh, we were discouraged.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We were discouraged. It was discouraging. It was bad. Again, I won't go into all the details of everything, but it was discouraging. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
But you kept on.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, all right. So rebounding from that, how do you just keep going? You say we're gonna. So how do you persevere through that?
All right. So again, without going into all the details, I got a concept for the record that ended up being On Tempo Jack that came out in 1988. All during this, just trying to figure out what's going on, and also trying to figure out my life. As far as, do I even want to do this that seriously? Because I got a job at the city in 1987. And I pretty much said, all right, I'm not quitting this job.
Right.
I'm keeping this job, and I'll still mess around with the music on the side, but I'm keeping the job. I'm not going to just jump out the window and throw everything into a rap career. Because I just didn't trust the industry at all. But so then got the idea of doing the song that became On Tempo Jack.
1, 2, 1, 2.
And do you want to get in that whole story behind
absolutely.
that? Okay. So my brother at the time, Cool Out C, he was living down in DC, and he was involved in a drug operation. Okay. He had he doesn't mind me talking about it, so I'll talk about it. So his man lived down in DC too, but he was from Harlem, from uptown Harlem, and he was down with like Rich Porter and that whole crew.
Oh, okay.
The whole Rooftop crew.
Yeah.
And my brother to this day, he says, when he looks at the movie Paid in Full, he said, that's me. That should be me right there. I don't know about that. But but they had a drug operation going, and they figured, okay, we can put out a record to, that's what people did back then, to try to hide what they're doing. So, I was never down with any of that myself.
Right.
But I did want to make a record.
Yeah,
so so I figured, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, if we do this record and we're successful, I can get my brother out of that line of life, which that wasn't going to happen. He pretty much let me know, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. And so we put out On Tempo Jack, but then we found out, again, the politics of the record business, that we took the record to one of the radio stations here in Philly. I'm not going to say the names of any of the people involved, but pretty much they brought, we were outside, and they brought the record in, brought it back out, and pretty much without saying it, told me I was going to give him some money to play the record.
Right.
And I didn't understand any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'm not giving y'all no money. So I was like, that was pretty much it. We didn't really try to push the record after that. And, you know, if I'd have taken it up to New York to Red Alert or somebody, who knows, the whole history of the record might have been different. But, yeah, I just felt that if I did take it, it was probably going to be the same thing. They're going to want some money. Yeah. So I just, you know, so we never pushed the record. And luckily people found out about it years later.
It's kind of like, that's one of those records, like, I don't know how, you know, you would say it, but it's almost like, to me, it's like the signature Phill Most Chill record. Like
it is.
Okay. And so, you know, things happen when they're supposed to happen, but it's like, and I think that's part of the brilliance with you is like, oh, you just getting up on Phill Most Chill now in 2025? Oh, he was back here. Yeah. And your just that history. That's what I, you know.
Right.
So it really didn't do much for you then, but now it's like it's taking on a whole life of its own.
They discovered it in like 2001, maybe, I don't know. And what happened with that is people started contacting me about, hey, did you do this record on Tempo Jack? And I said, yeah. You got any copies? Yeah, I got some. I'll send you one. Then more people started. And I was like, okay, hold up. Something going on here. Right. So then I found out, the collectors found out about the record, and it's now a big money item.
Wow.
And I'm like, it ended up going for as much as $750 a copy. Right. You know what I mean? And I was like, all right, y'all got me with the first couple, but all right. But and then it's one of those things, again, I never even would have fathomed that, because, I was always a record collector and everything. Right. I didn't think hip hop records were going to become like all these other soul records and everything that were going to be worth all this money. But I guess when you think about it now, it makes sense. And it was a surprise to me, but it was a good surprise.
Yeah, it's funny because me and Ranks, I remember he hit me up, and there's like, and I'm sure you saw it. It was like an Instagram reel, and it was talking about these records are worth this much. He's like, yo, there's a Phill Most Chill record on there. And I'm like, I saw that same reel. Yeah. So that's like, so you know what? Listen, this is for anybody doing anything, kids, whatever, the cream always rises to the top.
That's right. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
So
what year was that? That was 88?
88.
Yeah.
Okay. So after that record, so again, another experience. What happens after that?
Okay, so the whole thing about it coming out in 88, if you remember 1988, there was so many dope records that came out in 1988. Absolutely. So that was another reason why I didn't push the record more, because I didn't really think at the time that it was up to par with all this stuff that was coming out. Every weekend, it was something mind blowing that would come on the mix show, on the radio, Public Enemy, Ultramagnetic,
yes, sir.
Even Kid and Play in them were dropping fire. I mean, and it's like every time I was like, oh, I gotta go back to the drawing board. This ain't good enough. You know what I mean? Because 88 was just a crazy year, and of course, Public Enemy. Just they ruled the summer of 88. And I remember, in fact, that story, as I was telling you about when I was at the radio station. When I was taking the record there, they were playing Plug Tuning from De La Soul. And they were playing all night long on repeat. And I'm like, I ain't really dig it at the time. I'm like, y'all fronting on my record for this? Right. Y'all fronting on my record for this? And then, of course, over time, I started, I understand now. I understand now. But, so after that, what happened, I kept making Phill Most Chill demos. Wasn't really getting anywhere with it because at the time my stuff is very positive. Then I started doing Baritone Tip Love, who you asked me about before. I know that's on your list. I started doing Baritone Tip Love, just playing around with my little 4-track I had in my house. I did a character, one with a high voice, one with a low voice.
Oh, yeah. And you don't stop. Yeah, don't stop. Stop it out. Yo, check it out. Who's in the house? Yo, Baritone Tip Love. Check it out. Come on. It's DJ Severe with Baritone
Tip Love.
Yo, it's DJ Severe with Baritone
just from messing with the pitch control on the 4-track. And I made these some guys who would be different than me. Mm-hmm. They'd have totally different personalities, super arrogant. They feel they the nicest thing, since pants with pockets. You know what I mean? So I started playing that stuff for people, and people loved that stuff. Right. They loved that more than the Phill Most Chill stuff. So they were pretty much the people I was working with. I was working with my man Scott Herzog at Third Story Recording in West Philly. Right. And he was kind of working like as a manager for me. And pretty much the idea was, you need to do more baritone tip love stuff. Right. So he hooked me up with Tin Pan Apple. If you're familiar with them, Charles Stetler. Yeah, they did the Fat Boys. Yeah. And they were great. And they loved the baritone tip love stuff. Right. And I guess they envisioned that being their next Fat Boys possibly. But there were all kinds of problems with it, because how am I going to do it live? It's two different characters. How you gonna do it live? Yeah. Right. But they rocked with me for a while, and they actually got me some offers as far as record deals, like big major label record deals. And I think they said even at one point there was a bidding war for baritone tip love. Okay. But because they had their history with the Fat Boys, they need something big. They need, you can't just give me the regular run of the mill offer that they normally would give to unknown rappers, and they said, you can sign this deal, but they might not put your record out, and you'll just be stuck in limbo. And this happened to a lot of people back then, right? So they said, we don't want to do that, Phil. And I was like, you sure? You sure you don't want to do that? But it ended up not happening, and then we signed with Easy Street Records. Well, before that, Ice Cube came out with America's Most Wanted, okay? And I saw how people were gravitating to. I loved the album too. It was a great album. Mm-hmm. But I saw all the language in it, bitch, 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 bitch. Right. And I'm out hanging out with people, and I hear girls, they cool with it. They ain't got no problem with all the bitch, 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 bitch. So I'm saying, man, I'm trying to be all positive and not do that type of thing. Maybe I need to. So then that's when I got the idea. I said, I can do that too. And that's when I came with Living Foul, baritone tip love. And when I did that, people lost their minds. I was sure I was on my way after that, because every time I would play for somebody, they lost their minds. Like, this is the greatest thing I ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? So that got me the record deal with Easy Street Records, which is another indie. But I figured, okay, we signed with them. If we do something with the record, we can maybe move up from there. Right. But the problem with Easy Street Records, they didn't usually do hip hop. Mm-hmm. They did dance music more so. They had some hip hop records, but mostly dance music. And they didn't know what to do with the record. So gave it to them in 1991. They sat on it. I'm like, yo, when you gonna put it out? By the time they put it out in 1992, music changed, because that's how hip hop is. If you don't put it out right away, right. And I knew when they put it, I said, the time has passed for this. This is not it no more. Because now you got Naughty by Nature, you got Dre, and they're doing a whole different kind of thing. It's got, the music is getting more commercial, more polished, and this is like raw. This is super raw. I recorded this in my house. You know what I mean? So I said, it's not going to work, and it didn't. But I'm kind of glad it didn't, because it didn't really reflect who I am. Right, right. I'm happy with the creativity of the record, but a lot of the talk that I was doing is that wasn't really me. Right.
Just going back to the baritone and tip love style, was there anything that came to your mind that gave you the idea for that, to have these two different voices? Like, it's almost like, I've seen like Slick Rick do it with two different voices. It also reminds me of like Chuck D, Flavor Flav. We've seen Positive K do it. I've seen Dell do it, but I think you're probably one of the first people I heard do something like that. Yeah,
at the time that I did it, other than Slick Rick was definitely an influence, because he would do the dual voice thing. It wouldn't be, sometimes it was different characters, but it was mostly him just doing two voices. So he was an inspiration, but there were a lot of inspirations. The Beastie Boys were an inspiration, just as style-wise and everything. Tip Love, he took some cues from La Shoe B of the Crash Crew. You know,
my favorite member of the Crash Crew.
Right.
Oh.
And so it was a lot of people. Then Digital Underground came out with Humpty, but I had already been doing Baritone Tip Love when that came out. So I don't think I had any records out yet, though. So, I think the people that they usually talk about with Baritone Tip Love, they talk about Quasimodo.
Yeah. Actually, Quas, yeah.
Yeah. And I definitely was before them.
Oh, absolutely.
Did they hear Baritone Tip Love and did that inspire them? I don't know. But I have no proof of it, but I think a few people were inspired by Baritone Tip Love.
Speak on it.
I'll speak on it. And I got no proof of this at all, but I'll tell you the story. When I was doing Baritone Tip Love for Easy Street, we were going to do a video for it.
Right.
Okay. The guy who was doing the video also was doing stuff for Uptown Records. Okay. And he let the people at Uptown Records hear the Baritone Tip Love tape.
I know where you're going.
All right, you already know where I'm going.
I know where you're going.
And again, I got no proof of this, but this is when Puffy was there.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So then I know. No Diddy. But I had the one song on there which was called, what was it called? Oh my God, I don't remember the name of it. But pretty much it was very similar to Biggie's Dreams and R&B. Yeah. It was very similar.
Yo, DJ Severe on 1 and 2. Yo, check this shit out right here, man. Yo, Baritone, a lot of music out here sucks. So just I'ma rock on the mic like you don't give two fucks.
Once upon a time, way back in the past, I got hard and I wanted some ass. I got on the phone and I called up Jen and said, come over right now, God damn it.
I've always wondered, did Puffy get a hold of that tape? Because also, you know that they were taking stuff from other people back then. You had that one MC down south who I forget what his name was, but you know what I'm talking about?
And they said he sounds just like Big. Yep.
It looked like, and they sampled Juicy.
Yeah.
So I always wondered, all right, did Biggie hear that? Did that influence him to do that song? I don't know. I can't. But also, like I said, Uptown was interested in signing me at the time too.
Really?
Yeah, they heard the tape. They wanted to sign me, but they said you got to get out of that contract with Easy Street, and they weren't letting me out. So, that's another one of those could have been. Who knows? Right. But maybe it's a good thing I didn't get involved in that whole thing. Who knows? You know.
we ain't even got there. You had an interesting.
It's been very
weird,
interesting.
man.
It really has been.
But the key here is perseverance. Like I mean. Wow.
It's a love of the music, man. That's all it is. It ain't like looking for monetary gain or fame or no, I just love the music. I love being creative. That's it.
Yeah. So I want to talk about one of the things you're known for, and actually me and Ranks was talking about this a little bit earlier. He's like, yo, I need to talk to Phill about this, is beat digging.
Lesson 1, digging.
Let's go.
Well, listen, one thing I've always been interested in, and I've seen people talk about it and everything. If you could talk about the Roosevelt.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you talk about the Roosevelt? So can you explain what it is, what would go on, and everything?
Okay. So the Roosevelt Hotel Record Convention is like one of the unsung, like, big components of 90s hip hop. Like, 90s hip hop would not be the same without the Roosevelt Hotel Record Conventions. All the top producers in New York would come there, like I think about once a month or so, and we'd meet up, or not we'd meet up, but the dealers would set up, and people would come like about 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. I forget exactly what it was, and it would just be a feeding frenzy where these dealers had all these rare records, all these obscure records that they would sell to rap producers. You know what I mean? So, and they specialize in like drum breaks, all the stuff that you want to sample. So you would see, I mean, you can go down the list, name almost any New York producer of that time. You know what I mean? Except for Primo. I never saw Primo there. He might have been there before I started going there. Pete Rock, Q-Tip, Beat Miners, Beat Nuts. I mean, just name almost anybody. And the way I got into it was I was writing for Rap Sheet magazines. That's another part of the Baritone Tip Love story. I used to do one sheets for the Baritone Tip Love stuff.
Right.
Rap Sheet magazine saw that. They got me to work as their cartoonist. From there, they asked me, do you want to do actual interview people? And then do you want to do a column about beat digging? You know, because they saw that, I think, from the Pete Rock interview, I did a whole thing on the stuff that he sampled. So from that, I got with people like Benny B and Mr. Supreme out west. And I think from them, they started talking about the Roosevelt Hotel Record Convention.
Right.
I'd heard about it before, but I always heard the records are very expensive. I didn't have any money back then. So I never really thought about going. But once I started writing for Rap Sheet, I got to get this down. I got to, do a story on this. So I went up there, and it was amazing. Large professors right there as soon as we come in. Diamond D's right there as soon as you come in. Like everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we actually had videotape of that. They got lost. It would be gold. I'm telling you, if we had that, it would be gold. I swear to God. Because I don't think nobody's really done nobody back then really had a real good videotape of what went on down there. That one would have been it.
Right.
That would have been it, man. So that's going to make me cry if I start thinking about it. But
I used to read, I used to hear that Prince B used to be up there, and he the buyout stuff. So rest in peace, Prince B. Did you see him up there?
Sure. Prince B, that was my man. He was one of the best customers. Because like I said, I started out just doing a story on the Roosevelt, but when I saw the beats there, I'm like, I got a lot of these beats. I've seen a lot of these beats in stores. I'm gonna set up a table here too. So at this time, I think that might have been when I was done writing for Rap Sheet. I wasn't really doing music. I was producing, but I wasn't like rhyming anymore. So that became one of my things. That became one of my hustles. I said, I'm going to set up a table at the Roosevelt. And Prince B was one of my better customers. And Prince B was hated by all the other people. Because the dealers would cater to him. Because he had all the money off of, what was his hit? Set Adrift on Memory Bliss. He had the paper. And he didn't play around. Some of the other producers, to be honest, I love all those guys, but they sometimes would say they're gonna get a record and then maybe not get it or whatever. Not all the time, but enough that they're like, yo, we know that Prince B is good money. He's gonna come and he's gonna pay. Ain't gonna be no, Right. So, but the other producers couldn't stand him. Couldn't, and then that was after the whole KRS thing too. So he was not in favor with the hip hop community. So, but I thought he was a good guy though.
Right. Okay, rest in peace, Prince B.
Rest in peace, Prince B.
So that makes me think of a line in one of your songs, and I'm not going to butcher, but I'm going to talk about. And I wonder if this is a real thing, if it's ever discovered to be a real thing, about. Rest in peace, Biz, saying that there was Mardi Gras without the bells. Is it just something Biz imagined, or is it a tall tale?
It's true.
Oh, okay.
Kinda.
Oh, okay.
There's a version where the bells are panned to one side. Okay. So if you pan it to one side, you can get it without the bells. You might hear them faintly.
Right.
And that might have been what he was talking about.
Okay.
So I ain't gonna say Biz was lying.
No, rest in peace, Biz.
Because he also talked about the CTI briefcase. I don't know if you know that whole thing. Yeah, he said that he got it, the version with no bells, in a CTI briefcase. So it's like a briefcase with the print of the CTI logo all over it. And you open it up, and that's he had promos for that. So people thought that wasn't true either, but then it came out, no, that was very true.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, rest in peace, Biz. Biz has some crazy stories. You might want to ask Chuck about this one. Biz told me that he had a version of the symphony with Chuck D, KRS-One, and somebody else. I forget who it was. Well, it was Chuck D and KRS-One. That's what he told me. So
over the same beat,
on the symphony. Yeah.
I wonder if it was like a rebuttal, because at the time, the KRS wasn't down with Mr. Magic and them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
so I
right.
wonder if it was like. I'm just speculating, but I wonder if it was like a comeback.
Or maybe just made up. I don't know.
Oh man, Biz. Rest in peace, Biz. You talked about graffiti, but did you always draw as a child? Like, did you always drew?
Absolutely. That was my thing growing up. I was an artist, and like you know, you might know my history as far as doing flyers for those early hip hop parties too. Yeah, but that was my thing. I drew comics. I was a comic book fanatic. I idolized Jack Kirby. I don't know if you're a comic book guy like that, but I'm right. All right.
Phil, listen, last episode we talked about comics. Let's have a comic conversation, bro.
We can do that.
Let's do it now.
I'm not that deep into it no more, but when I was a kid, let me tell you.
I love Jack Kirby. I get it. Go ahead, brother.
No, but like so we talk about beat digging for records. The first thing I was digging for was comic books. Right. So I had in Connecticut, I had this bookstore that was near where I lived at, and they would always have some stuff behind the counter. Yeah. And back there, bro. We talking about stuff like Fantastic Four #5. We talking about Avengers #2, Iron Man #1, Submariner #1. Yeah, man. Yeah,
I can see him.
You know the stance and everything.
I can see him.
Yeah, so that's what I did, man. I collected comic books as a child, man. And you know, I had a little bit of a hand. So and the Jack Kirby stuff was so dynamic. So that I would idolize how, or I try to mimic how he drew the action scenes and everything. And at one time I hoped that maybe I could become an artist for Marvel. The problem with that though is I don't like drawing backgrounds,
right?
and all that kind of stuff. You got to be able to draw that stuff too, and that's like technical drawing, getting straight lines and everything. I like to just freestyle and just do whatever comes to my mind. So I kind of, I wasn't really thinking about doing it professionally after that. But no, I grew up all about them comic books, bro. All about them comics.
I've heard you say this. I've heard you keep on saying it. So, you a Marvel over DC?
Oh, without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
My man.
We grew up on Marvel. I'm gonna tell you this. I learned all this from my brother, Cool Al C. When I was like, I might have been 3 years old, man, but I remember this. My brother had the Mary Marvel Marching Society flexi disc record.
You belong to the Mary Marvel Marching Society.
So we tying all this, and we turn into comic books and superheroes and records and everything. He had the flexi record. It's like one of my earliest memories. And I remember getting jelly on it. I had a jelly, peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I got jelly on it. And I was worried. And I was like, oh no, he's gonna be mad. But so I go back that far with comic books, man.
So it makes me, so I forget what album it is, and it's the baritone Tip Love, but you see the header. I'm like, that's Power Man and Iron Fist. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Because that was one of my favorite comics when I was a kid. Power Man and Iron Fist.
Oh yeah.
Like, Luke Cage.
Yeah. You had to love Luke Cage, man. Brothers coming up, man. See a black superhero like that? Yeah, man.
It's funny to me. It's like when Black Panther came out, and I'm not trying to say, but like when I saw all the people online and how much it did and all that, and I'm like, y'all wasn't around for all this. And I was like, when I was a kid, Black Panther would pop through the window in the Avengers and come out, but our man was Luke Cage. That was our guy.
That was a brother. He's from Harlem. You know what I mean?
That was our guy. And you know, listen, I love Black Panther.
Absolutely.
But our guy, it was Luke Cage.
And he was cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's cool. So So just to see black superheroes, man, back then, it was a big deal. And by the way, let me shout out Russ Ace again, because he also had a nice hand, and we would do our own superheroes. And we had our own little comic book company that we fictional comic book company that we did, and we had a lot of fun with that. We like Russ is in all that stuff too.
Just give me your your 3 favorite books to collect.
X-Men. That would be the second iteration of the X-Men.
Chris Claremont.
Yeah. With all
new.
Yeah.
Starting 95.
There you go. You know what's up.
They jumping out I know it.
So it would be that. I wish I could say it was Luke Cage or Black Panther. I love them, but as far as comic books, other than the X-Men, that X-Men, it was also Fantastic Four, because again, Kirby. And those classic issues with Silver Surfer and Galactus and all that. Yeah, man. So, and then those would definitely be the top two. Number 3, I'm not really sure. Early Avengers. There you go. Thank you, Russ. Early Avengers. Yes.
Let's say on the help out.
Yes.
So,
yeah, he knows.
So is it safe to say Kirby is your favorite?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hands down. It revolutionized comic books. You know, and then, you know, Stan Lee gets a lot of the credit for it, which he deserves his amount of credit. But really, those of us who know, we know who really was making those characters.
King Kirby.
You know? Yeah.
We talked about Rap Sheet, you True Urban Funnies.
Yep.
You drew for that. Wax Poetics.
Yeah.
The real shit.
The very first issue of Wax Poetics. Yeah.
Do y'all see this guy? Like,
man.
This is prolificness in front of you.
Man.
So how did that come about? How did
Wax
that?
Poetic?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my man, again, these senior moments. Andre Torres, right?
Mm-hmm.
He came to me and asked me, did I want to write for the magazine?
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, sure, for sure. But what he wanted, like, my style is like really like just I'm talking street slang and stuff like that in my writing. He said he wanted to be something that was a little more professional sounding.
Right.
So like I said, I did the first issue with I believe that was the thing I did with Mr. Supreme.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that, I said, you know, I think I see your vision where you want to go with it, but I think you should just go ahead and do it, and I'm not gonna go on. And there was another controversy I won't get into. I won't get into about that first issue, but I see where they went. I see his vision, and no, I thought it was a great vision. I liked the magazine a lot, but it wasn't for me to be a part of.
Okay. So this gets me to the question that C-Doc
wanted me
to ask you.
Okay.
Shout out to our man C-Doc. I don't know if you ever saw Chuck D had the magazine Rap Central. I think it was Rap Central magazine, Rap Central paper. If you ever saw, there's only a few issues.
Few issues. I heard of it. I don't know if I ever saw it.
It was, listen, C-Doc had to mail it to me because he'd be like, it's in your record store. And I'm going to a record, I couldn't find it. So C-Doc, I think I have 2 issues.
Around what era are we talking about?
No, this was in the last, just 2023. 20,
oh, okay.
Yeah, this is recent.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is print. This is print.
It was print.
Yeah.
It was free. You go to the record store. It was free. You could pick it up. You know, Chuck D is big on charts. So if you ever see when Flatline, he always does charts. You know, this is the number. Phill Most Chill is number 1 this week on this. He's big on charts.
Okay.
So it would be a lot of charts. There was a lot of, articles. I mean, talking to different people, Ice-T, Ice Cube, so on and so on. Anyway, we were talking with Chuck, and I forget the name of the magazine, but it's a UK magazine that Chuck is so enthralled with. They've been printing for years, and it's more about like rock history. Okay. But the way that they handle the magazine, he's so enamored with this.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah,
I can't think of the name.
It's like
I know what you're talking about.
Like a hubbaloo, some weird type of name or something. And so Chuck has somehow got intertwined with them. He's bringing the magazine back. So C-Doc wanted me to ask you, would you be interested in bringing, Soul Man's World of Beats to that magazine?
Well, I tell you, now that I'm retired from my day gig, I'll probably have some time on my hands.
Okay.
I'm not going to commit to it right now, but we can discuss it for sure. So C-Doc, it's not off the table. We can talk about it.
I brought it. He asked me. I talked to C-Doc this week. Y'all, you got his number. Y'all talk. Y'all figure that out.
All right. Yeah. No, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. So
that would be dope.
I would love to see that.
Okay.
And let's just say this is going. So this magazine is coming from the UK.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be an import here, and I mean I don't know. Like me, I've seen things from the UK. It's like they value hip-hop. A lot of just the more things of the culture
everything,
more than we do, and we'll get into that because I know a lot of with your records and stuff, but they value it more than we do.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I personally would love to see Phill Most Chill
For sure.
associated.
That would be dope.
Yeah, so we like I said, I should have some time on my hands. We can definitely talk about it. I got some other things going on too. Maybe we can talk about that later as well. So we'll see. But I might be able to squeeze that in there.
All right. So we're talking about various. So now we just talk about magazines. You've been in different times, and another time where I run across Phill Most Chill again, the blog era on computer, and I'm seeing Phil Strowman, the Soul Man, this type of thing, and it's like you keep on popping up. So
can't get rid of me.
But it's showing me your love, your dedication, and just that. Like you said, your love for the art, but
that persistence, like you said.
Persistence, yeah. And so talk about that era. What were you exactly doing online?
Okay, so I got to try to remember that stuff, to be honest. But so this was, I guess, in the 2000s, mid 2000s, maybe.
Yeah.
So around that time, what had happened was my wife had 2 children, so my life really changed at that point. Because I'd been out like. Just going out from Philly to New York to anywhere, searching for records or just hanging out, music-related stuff, whatever. Once I had the children, it's like, all right, I'm going to stay close to home. And this is right when the internet started booming.
Right.
So now this is my way of connecting with people. It's just being on the internet. So a lot of it was being on message boards or like soulstrut.com. I was on there a whole lot while I'd be home babysitting the children. And I'm typing on Soulstrut. And at some point, I guess the blog started really popping off, and that became a thing. So I thought, all right, this is a way I can like continue or have some type of an extension of the World of Beats stuff I was doing with Rap Sheet.
Right.
So I said, but now I can talk about anything. I have no restrictions. I'm free. I can do it however I want to. And so that's when I had a couple of blogs. I forget what the first one was called, but then I came with That Real Shit, which was my little catchphrase from when I was on soulstrut.com. I just I was all about. They knew I was that guy. I was all about that real shit. So and they clowned me a little bit. It was all in good fun though. But yeah, so then I started doing that blog, and that blog actually became very popular for a while. I don't know if very popular in the grand scheme of things. I know people have much bigger ones, I guess, but it was popular. And I had a lot of fun doing that. A lot of fun doing that. I thought I had some pretty good content I was putting out. You
did. Listen, it's it like I said, you persevering, but going through we started with watching records, tapes, doing this, getting to here.
Right.
But you keep as we say, keep on keeping on.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
It's very interesting to me. Like nowadays, you can just press a button, talk to people, click, get here, and it's much different than when we were growing up.
Oh,
like,
much different.
When you were a kid, you had to be there. Now it's like you don't got to be nowhere. Like, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The world has gotten very small.
Very
small.
It's gotten super small.
Yep.
Speaking of which, so let's, I just want to just talk on a couple projects, but the world being small. So Ranks, I'm gonna tell you, I'm already a fan of this man, right? I get an instant message, yo, would you be interested in doing a video for Analog Mutants? I'm like, yo, Phill Most Chill, what?
Yeah.
Phil, we friends now, but Phil, this is serious. This is how I felt like. So let's talk about just real quick. You hit me up about doing a video. For people that don't know, if you go to Instagram at ULTRAMAG7, I do these little mashup videos, and I think let's even go back to the foremost. You had Digging for a Living, and I just did a little like Sanford and Son thing. I want to redo it because
it was great.
No, it can be better.
Okay.
But I did this Digging for a Living. Phil liked it, and it warms my heart. I always tag the artists because I don't know if they're gonna see it or not, whatever. But I'm like, if they see it and when they appreciate it, he appreciated DJ Format. I'm like, yo.
That's dope.
So
Yeah.
is that so? Not just I'm not trying to big myself up.
Mhm.
Is that how you first saw my stuff, or was that like?
That wasn't the first thing I saw.
Okay.
I'm sure I've seen some of your videos before that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure because you had a bunch of them before that.
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I wasn't
yeah.
like, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I'd seen your stuff before.
Tons.
And it's always dope.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Always
Thank
dope.
Yeah.
So then I see mine on there. It's like, oh snap! I actually got acknowledged here. All right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So that there was that one. Then you did at least one, maybe two more. I think. So I got.
You know what? I did so many. I think I did do a couple more. I gotta go back and remember.
You did Get Busy music off the
with the dance album.
Yeah. Oh, that
Get
one was
Busy
great.
music.
That was
Forgot about
great.
that.
Check it
And
out.
I think you might have done another one.
I forgot about
Yeah, I can't
It's a
remember.
good song too.
Oh yeah.
Played,
Oh.
I played
Thank
it
you,
earlier.
thank you.
That's
So,
what-
but
yeah.
what I want to
That's
say though is, Phil, all these videos I do, this is music I listen to. It's
Okay.
not like, oh, well, somebody do Get Busy. No, that's my jam.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Right.
Your
Yeah.
music is in my ear. This is what I'm listening to.
Appreciate
when
it, man.
When I see these, and I love digging for. I'm gonna redo that one. I'm
another
telling you. I'm
Okay.
gonna redo that one.
That's funny because that's one I didn't even want to do that song.
Uh-huh.
DJ Format, he told me, Phil, you got to do this song. People gonna love this song because he just from him doing the beat, he said, I already know.
Yeah.
You do it about digging, they're gonna love it. And yeah, it's like one of my most popular songs for real.
Because you're talking about the whole process. It was. Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I used the I Want My Daddy's Records with Bubba.
Right.
You know,
Genius.
I used that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna redo it. I'm gonna get it tighter.
I actually had a T-shirt I was gonna wear it today. I want my daddy's record. I was gonna wear it. Yeah.
But going back, Phil reached out to me. He was doing an album. Shout out to DJ Snafu, DJ Grasshopper, but a group Analog Mutants. He reached out. I'm looking at I'm like, yo, bro, let's go.
Yeah.
And I did 2 videos. Was on vacation.
On vacation, yeah,
And
yeah.
there was another.
And
What's another one?
I can't think of it either. So don't feel bad.
Speakeasy.
Speakeasy. Right.
Speakeasy. So did those. So listen, Phil, he keeps on connecting. It's going. I'm like, this guy's been on the radar. So it's like, we're here now,
Yeah,
but it's like
yeah.
it's slowly, slowly moving. But number one, I want to thank you for reaching out. It was a pleasure, working with you brothers. And
for sure, for sure, man, for sure.
But so, how did you, just real quick, how did you get involved with Snafu and Grasshopper?
Okay, Snafu. We had done stuff again. They could probably tell you better than me, but this was back. This might have been like 2010 or 2011 or something like that. Again, approached me, said, hey, you want to do some work? And he sent me some beats. I said, yeah, I like these beats. Let's do it. And this is why it was probably earlier than 2010 because I still didn't have my rap game together yet, coming back into trying to rap again. I was still trying to figure it all out. Like, how do you rap now? Do you rap like you did back in the days? Do you try to do what they're doing now? What do you do?
Right.
So I was still trying to figure it out. I was kind of getting influenced by Kanye and Jay-Z and people like that. And finally I realized, no, just be yourself, do what you do, and don't worry about all that. But yeah, he got with me and we did the Fast Rap EP. And and then from there, the whole Analog Mutants thing came when he just sent me a bunch of loops of music that was like, this is not the stuff you normally rap to. This is like 50s music, you know what I mean? But it was intriguing to me. I was like, this is different. It was like a challenge. All right, how do you rhyme to this? And we started working on stuff, and I liked it. I thought it was really interesting, you know what I mean? So, and finally, we put out a few singles, and now we got the album is going to come out later this year. So, and I hope people like it. I think they will. It's got that touch to it that all these different kinds of music and 50s stuff and bikini music or beach music or whatever you call it, titty shakers and it's going to be different, but it's still very hip hop.
That makes me that picture, shake your titties.
Right.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Yeah, that's oh man. Brother, you're so prolific.
Mm-hmm.
You got so many records out there.
It's a lot.
It's a whole lot.
Yeah,
and they're all bangers. That's the thing.
Well, I don't know if they're all bangers, but
as a fan, I'm telling you.
Okay. Well, I think I'm happy. I'm proud of the catalog we have so far.
Yes.
Yeah. But we ain't done. There's more coming.
No.
Trust me.
I just want to talk about one. So I know he passed away. Can you talk about Paul Nice? So before we start, anybody here, if you see in the corner, this is the Febreze brothers. He's got some of these they're for free. There's stuff that's over there for sale. If you want to buy something, Russ Ace is over there, but he's got some things, and this is one of them you need to hear. But rest in peace, Paul Nice. Can you talk about Paul Nice real quick?
So Paul Nice, that was my man. It's sad what happened with him, but that was my man, and he was a good dude. He really was a good dude.
Right.
I don't know how much I can even really talk about. But,
I mean, just maybe his brilliance. I don't want to hear about that.
I hear
his
you.
brilliance.
No, one of the best producers out there, and I guess everybody can say that, but the fact that the young lady who just won the Grammy Award, and I always mess up her name, begins with a D. You guys might be able to help me with it. Doechii.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she used one of his beats on her album, and now I'm seeing it on Chipotle commercials and everything. But that goes to show, even though he didn't reach that kind of success or fame or whatever, he was a great producer, and he deserved to be on that level. And great to work with. He understood the sound of hip hop. That the same sound that I love, and we were like, it's called Febreze brothers. We were brothers in that sense as far as hip hop goes. And again, a really good dude. Really, and gone way too soon. Way too soon.
So rest in peace, Paul Nice. So you get a lot of overseas collaborations. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely.
So how do your collaborations come about? Do they connect with you? Like, how does it happen?
All right. So almost in every case, people come to me and say, hey, Phil, you want to do this? I got an idea for a record. I got some beats. Listen to my beats. It'll be something like that. And like I said, a lot of these people I've been working with for a long time, so I don't even remember exactly how we first met up. But I tell you, like, I'm trying to think now. Yeah, so usually they come to me, and then they, like I said, we realize we're brothers of the same mind as far as the music goes, and we just start working, start making music. Yeah, and that's pretty much how it goes. It's funny because I like around 2013, 2014, I did all the records at the same time, pretty much. The Foremost album with DJ Format, the Joe Run PMC album. The Analog Mutant stuff, and something else. I'm forgetting something there, but I did them all like around the same time. I was just really crazy prolific. I still have like on my phone showing where I did one song from one album one day, then the next day I did another song from the other album. I just was doing all these all at the same time. But getting back to your whole thing as far as the UK, the UK is the place as far as hip hop goes. You know what I mean? That they love hip hop to this day, and they understand it too. Yes, it's not just that they love it; they understand it, and they know if you come up with something that's whack or something that's dope. You know what I mean? So I feel honored really that they've kind of taken me in, and they a lot of people in the UK really love what I do, and I'm always down to work. Those are my brothers, so let's go UK for real.
I said before, I got off that plane with Prince of Superstar. I thought we was the Beatles. I swear. And then come back to Central Park in New York, we got booed. I wish Soulbuck was here because he was getting booed. But I'm like, and it was the first time Soulbuck saw. I'm like, well, Soulbuck, we was the Beatles. And we was in London. We was the Beatles.
We was just killing it.
Right.
So let me just ask you. So do you do any shows?
Okay, so me and DJ Too Tough did Crate Diggers.
Right.
Yep.
And
I was there. Yes, sir.
Definitely in the house.
Yeah.
That was actually the first time I performed live, like rhyming, since, I don't even know, sometime in the 90s probably.
Wow.
So all these records I've been making for the last however many years, I haven't done any live shows at all. None whatsoever. Wow. And most of that is because of having a job, you know? Yeah. So we've had opportunities at times to go overseas or go here or go there. But I got a job and I got a family. You know, my kids were younger at the time.
Yeah.
So, I couldn't just be out on the road doing that. So that was actually the first opportunity I had to do it in a long time.
Phill, you're retired. You got whatever, your money or whatever. Your retirement plan, Phill, I'm just telling you, you can go on a club run all through the, bro, I know you already know. Phill.
You ready to manage me, man? Let's go. Let's do it.
I ain't gonna manage you. I want to be the hype man. I want to be a hype man. Listen, you don't want me done with finances. Right. I be a hype man. You want to do, listen, I be Tip Love. You want to do that? I be Tip Love. But you can, listen, bro. They would, they would love to see you.
Yeah.
And you've never been there, so that's a gold mine.
Yeah.
I know you know this is a gold mine.
I'd love to do it. Like I said, I had opportunities to do it before, but just, you know, like when me and Format did our album, we talked about it. Yeah. But then we started looking at the logistics of it and said, I just don't think I could do it. You know what I mean? I don't think. And when me and Paul Nice were doing ours,
right,
where we had actually talked to my man Peyton Locke, who he was performing with Edon at the time. Rest in peace.
Good dude.
Peyton Locke. Yeah. Real good dude. And we had talked about it with them as far as like opening up for them. But again, it's like I can't lose money from my job. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, I got vacation time. I can use some vacation time and all that. But again, I got a family and stuff. I might need that time for family things and all that. So yeah, I just, you know, unless you come in with a bag, I really can't do it.
It's a whole lot of different circumstances now, Phill.
Well, I got a lot more freedom now, so let's go.
Okay.
We need that Spit Slam tour for real.
There you go.
Let's go.
There you go.
You hear that, C-Doc? You hear that, Chuck D?
There you go.
We need an enemy radio tour.
That's what's up.
We need an enemy radio tour. So let's all right, let's I know you're a big sports fan.
Absolutely.
Sports. You're a football guy, right?
Football's my sport. I'm basketball too, but mostly football.
Okay. You're an Eagles fan, right?
No doubt. Bleed green.
I just gotta back him up.
We ain't gonna say what team you're a fan of.
I know where you stand on
this. I don't want to. Hopefully, nobody. I'm a Cowboys fan.
How about them Cowboys?
I know where I'm at.
You my man, but boo.
I'm in Philly. I know what it is. So I know we want to break this down. Let me just Eagles quarterbacks. You got to pick one of these three. Randall, Donovan, Hurts.
Randall.
I'm with you.
The ultimate weapon.
Randall, but with good coaching, and in today's game, because he didn't have good coaching when he was there. If he'd have had good coaching, and the league understood what to do with that kind of a quarterback. That's because he put up crazy passing games too. You know, it wasn't just running; he put up crazy passing games.
He had an arm like a listen, I'm a Cowboys fan, and I'm like, I knew. Yeah, Randall was something different.
He was something different. He could punt the ball too. He was a quarterback and a punter in college.
I remember when he first Jaworski was still quarterbacking, and he would come in and kick the ball. He was like, "Yo, who's his brother?"
Yeah.
The next thing I know, he's quarterbacking.
He was different. So people now talk about Vic and they talk about Lamar, but that you can't forget about Randall. Randall was something. But I also want to say though, Hurts is my guy, and I believe in him. I totally believe. I think he's going to have a great year this year, passing the ball as well as running. I think he's going to do both. McNabb, I got to give him a hand too. Wasn't my favorite quarterback. I had issues with McNabb, but
number 5 will always love you.
Number 5 will always love you. That's right.
Number 5 will always love you.
I still thank him for what he did. He was a good quarterback. He wasn't a great quarterback. He was a good quarterback.
He kept the Eagles afloat for
without a lot of help.
Him and Andy, yeah.
Without a lot of skill position help. So
I was gonna say he didn't have a supporting cast, really.
He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't.
at least receiver wise, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
Are you a basketball fan?
I'm a basketball fan. Yep.
Are you a Sixers fan?
I'm a Sixers fan.
Oh,
I'm a Sixers fan.
He won't get me with all. Okay, I grew up a Sixers fan.
Who are you a fan of now?
The Nets. I can tell.
Oh, well, that's your from when they were the jersey.
No. But I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Okay.
I was a Sixers fan. They wanted Doc is my guy.
Okay.
Andrew, Tony, the whole.
Okay.
Then I went to Drexel University.
You told me, yeah.
Stepped on campus. These guys from New York. They talking all this New York stuff. The guys from Philly, they little tight hats, they little Reeboks and their little jackets. They talking this Philly stuff. I'm from Jersey, even though it's right across the bridge.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just went to my Jersey bag. I said, yo, Nets and Devils. So that's what.
Okay.
But at the same time, this is Derek Coleman.
Yes.
This is Drazen Petrovic.
Okay.
This is Kenny Anderson.
Yeah.
They had a nice team at the time.
You know,
I'm a Nets fan from that era.
But anyway,
Yeah.
so let me go. I think. Well, I don't even know. I can't even pretend to know what you would say. So let's go to different eras.
Okay.
Doc. Barkley. Iverson. What's your favorite era?
That's hard. I'm gonna go with Doc. I'm gonna go with Doc because people forget how incredible Doc was coming out of the ABA. You ain't never seen nothing like Doc.
Jenny Squad.
But I got a lot of love for AI too. A lot of love for AI, man.
Yeah.
Again.
The city, man.
And to be honest, I like Iverson more as a football player than I do as a basketball player. If you ever see those highlights,
news.
You know what I mean? That's right.
What news?
But no, I got to go with Doc. I got to go with the old school dude.
Yeah.
Because people forgot once Jordan came into the league, people forgot what Doc did.
Yeah.
Doc was something different, man. Especially if you know, and you talk about Jersey when he was with the Nets.
The Nets.
Where if you see some of
Only
those
championship
highlights,
he got.
yeah. And as me growing up in Connecticut, they started talking about Doc. Like you started really hearing about him like 75. And I'm a little kid, but I'm tuning in the games now to see Doc. So I got to see a couple of games where he was in the ABA with the Nets when they went for the championship. So yeah, I got to go with Doc.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna just go my last basketball question. I'm gonna go point guards. Magic, Isaiah, Stockton.
Magic. No doubt. I know Russ likes that. He's a Lakers fan. Again, Magic, when he hit the scene, man, you didn't see nothing like that before. You know, the passing ability. Yeah, you had Pistol Pete and people like that who could throw it around, and Bob Cousy, I guess, back in the days. But Magic was something different. He was something different. So and in fact, I have a funny Magic Johnson story too, real quick. One time when I was in high school, we went to Great Adventures, and the park is about to close down, and we're over there by the lightning loops, I think it was, whatever the loops were back then.
Lightning loops.
They were kind of new back then.
Lightning loops.
And we're trying to get out of the park because they're about to close down, and then just turn around, look, and it's Magic Johnson, just standing up there with a denim 3-piece suit on, just leaning up against a fence, and there's a kid sitting on the fence who's selling pieces of paper for people to get autographs for him. So what the hell are you doing here? Why are you here? And he didn't have no people around him other than this kid who was sitting on the fence selling pieces of paper. And I was like, wow. And I said,
I'm in New Jersey.
I know, right? Jackson.
Wow, yeah.
It's not named
what are you doing on the exit 7?
Right.
So that's one of my funny little brushes with greatness. I had a few of them in my lifetime.
Yeah.
So
Same thing we're going to do. I'm going to come with some producers.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 3 of them.
Okay.
You pick me who's your favorite.
And I tell you right now, you see on Drink Champs when they do this kind of stuff and people punk out and won't answer some of the tough questions. I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna answer every question. I ain't got no problems.
3 producers. I'm gonna take it back. Larry Smith, Rick Rubin, Pumpkin.
Oh man. Oh, that's hard, man. If I keep it a bean, I gotta go with Rick Rubin. And that's hard for me. That's hard for me to do. That's hard for me to do, man, because Pumpkin was incredible. And Larry Smith is like one of the most underrated producers ever.
Yeah.
Really, you can say either one of them were better producers than Rick Rubin. for real. But Rick Rubin at that time, he was coming with something different.
Mm-hmm.
The minimalist sound, the hard beats, the slow beats. And at that time, I just loved all that stuff, man. I loved the Def Jam sound back then. I loved that more than anything. You know, so as much as I love what Larry Smith was doing with people like Houdini or whatever, that Def Jam stuff, man. Yeah. So I'm gonna take Rick. Okay. It's a rough one though.
I didn't think he was gonna say Rick.
Man, listen. Nothing I wanted more than that purple Def Jam jacket back then. And my man Scratch Master Rob, who wanted to be here today, he couldn't. He used to hang out with Rick Rubin. He would go to his loft. I guess I forget where exactly it was at. But he would go to his loft, and one time he was there, and all the Def Jam jackets were hanging up, and Rick wasn't there, and the door was just open. I mean, he could have ran off with those jackets, but because of my influence on him to try to be a good person, he didn't steal the jackets, you know. But yeah, he was there when they were doing Brass Monkey and a lot of stuff. So, and at the time he was trying to shop Phill Most Chill demos to Rick Rubin. Didn't work. I wasn't really ready yet, but yeah. But yeah, Rick Rubin. That was the sound I loved back then.
Okay. So another 3 producers.
Okay.
I'm gonna take it to another era.
Okay.
Marley Marl, Set G, Paul C.
Marley Marl.
Yeah.
Because just too much. I love Set G, and you can't front on what Paul C did. People didn't even understand what he was doing. And he was responsible for so many dope records at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But Marley Marl, man, the Juice Crew stuff, and pretty much. I don't know if he invented sampling or he was really the first one, but he was the first one of note who was really sampling like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So with the bridge. So yeah, no, it would have to be Marley Marl.
All of his early records. I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Let's move it just up another notch.
I know where we going. Let's go.
Primo.
Primo.
Extra P.
Go ahead, you can finish.
Primo, Extra P, Large Professor, Pete Rock.
Of course, I knew it was gonna be. Yeah, Primo.
Okay.
And let me again. I got to give shout outs to Extra P, large producer. People don't even realize some of the stuff that he produced back then that was uncredited.
Right.
So no, one of the greats for sure. Pete Rock, I was a huge Pete Rock fan. And I did the story on him in Rap Sheet. I got to hang out with him at Green Street when he was actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I still got the little mini cassette tapes of that session. People been asking me for it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not putting it out there for the world. But and that was cool. He was producing female rapper Shazzy. I don't know if you remember her.
On Elektra.
Right.
Dante Rose. Oh.
Right. So they were in the studio and everything. But then he started playing beats. He started playing like unreleased beats. We were losing our minds. Wow. We were in that studio losing our minds because that was right at the height of his power.
Wow.
So yeah, that was great. And I think Pete he's still great to this day. I love the thing he did with Common just recently.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and again, he's one of my customers at the record show, so shout out to Pete Rock. And Extra P, he would come through too.
Right.
But Primo,
yeah,
because once he got his signature sound down, I just think it would blow my mind because I knew all the original records or a lot of them anyway. The original records he sampled, and I would see how he would flip them. And it was unbelievable.
All right, I'm going to take it back to an MCing thing.
All right.
And I'm going to go to a group.
Let's go.
That had their 2 standout members, not standout, but 2 big members. I'm going to the Fearless 4.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite groups.
DLB.
Yes.
Or the Devastating Tito.
Oh, that's a hard one. That's DLB. And listen, that's a hard one though, because Tito was a monster.
Absolutely.
Tito was a monster. But DLB, just something about his, and he came up with Mo D. They pretty much kind of almost lived together for a while in Harlem. And you can see the influence that Mo D had on DLB. But you're talking about somebody who's putting words together. You're talking about the science of putting words together. People say that Rakim revolutionized lyricism, and he did on a certain level. But those guys were revolutionizing it even before that.
Yes, absolutely.
D.O.B. was incredible. Yeah. My man Troy L. Smith, he actually had. We were talking about one of the rhymes, and we never knew exactly what he was saying on it. So he got D.O.B. to actually give him word for word what the rhyme was. So I think it's the Fearless Freestyle rhyme. And yeah, it just broke everything down. It's like, oh my God. And there was another rhyme he did on a live tape that was crazy too, and broke that one down as well. And it's like, wow. Yeah, he was one of the greats and really unsung. And people should know him as being one of the great.
When he was talking about ice cream and he said, in a bowl, in a cone, a la mode, all alone.
Back on the team and I will make you scream. As versatile as the thing is they call ice cream. In a bowl, on the cone, a la mode, all alone. Slow, I've been putting this on the microphone.
Listen.
I was like, DLB.
Yeah.
He's the guy.
But Tito was, like I said, Tito was a monster.
Yeah.
MC, lawyer, or employer. Better, I'm probably saying it wrong.
No.
I will abolish, wax and polish. Yeah, man.
Go, re, mi, fa, sol, la, Tito. MC, lawyer, or an employer, but better known as Tito, the MC destroyer. I will abolish, wax and polish. MC's in the place, I will demolish.
Okay, so let me. Furious 5.
Yes, sir.
You got Melly Mel.
Mm-hmm.
You got Rest in Peace Cowboy.
Yep.
You got Raheem. You got Kid Creole.
Mm-hmm.
You got Mr. Ness.
Yes.
Did you have a favorite out of the 5?
Melly Mel. Now, I will say this, though. Back in the days, before I really understood the science of rapping and everything, I was a Scorpio fan. I was a Mr. Ness fan. I did like Mr. Ness. But I liked quite a few. Cowboy was the man, too. You know what I mean?
My name is Cowboy, not giving no slack. I'm like 4, 5, 6, better known as head crack.
And then Creole with the echo. If you hear the live tapes, and he's destroying the echo.
And yes, y'all, the sounds that you hear are the deaf to your ear. So have no fear.
And Raheem, to this day, Raheem can go bar for bar with people. He's nice to this day. But Melly Mel, Melly Mel is the beginning of MCing as we know it today. Yeah, he's the beginning of it. He really is.
No, I have no. I was always a Cowboy fan.
Yeah,
it was something. My eyes brown, my legs bold. I could. He was
style.
Always,
flavor.
There was something about Cowboy that I always liked.
And he was the first one to pick up the mic for Flash.
Yeah.
So my man Dynamite, who I see on Facebook all the time, he was like best friends with Cowboy, and he's quick to let people know, no, that's the first MC. Cowboy's the first MC.
Right.
Okay. I think I talked to him about this before, and he agrees with me that rap as we know it today kind of really starts with Mel, though, because he changed it from what Hollywood and them were doing, which was kind of like crowd response and kind of like the old school, the radio DJs and stuff. Melly Mel made it hard and made it lyricism. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's got to be Mel. But yeah, shout out to the whole Furious 5. That was just
the 5. That's come on, man. That's the essence of hip hop for me. That's it, like the 5.
Starting with the 3 MCs, then going to the Furious 4, then to the Furious
Raheem
5,
comes, and it's oh my god!
And then you got the Furious Lovers, you got the Furious 7. I don't know if you know that history too. The Furious 7 with Curtis Blow and Kool Kyle, the Star Child, were part of the group for a little while, and then the Furious Lovers. That's when Kev Waterbed joined them for a while because Creole left. So he took his place, but then Creole came back. Yeah. They became the Furious Lovers.
Wow.
Yeah.
We got history on the podcast, y'all.
I love it.
You may not like me saying, when I say you did like me saying this. You know who my favorite member of the Cold Crush is?
JDL.
By this tough voice, all the ladies can tell. The man on the mic, what? The heart, the finger, the heart, the finger. On any stage, I'm the number one.
See, I knew it.
Terry D. Lewis. Everybody loves GMC. Listen, Grandmaster Kaz, bro, there's something about JDL I love.
The first grimy MC with the raspy voice and everything.
There we go.
raspy voices are like the thing in hip hop now or in rap music now. He was the first one. He was doing it before it was cool to have a raspy voice. You know, back then MCs wanted to enunciate and have clear, powerful voices. Right. He was raspy. You know, my throat is sore. Get on your mic with your eye. Cold Crush was just as a group. They were just rowdy, man. They had that rowdy sound, man. They was just a ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? I just love the Cold Crush, man.
I'd love. There's something about JDL.
Yeah.
The L, the one of I said, well, take it on the fly girls, dude. JDL is just. Anyway, we could talk hip hop all day, but we gotta wrap this up. Is there any upcoming project before we get out of here? Any upcoming projects you want to talk about? Things that are coming that we should be looking out for?
Absolutely. I'm probably going to forget a few things, but the main things is coming up next will be the Analog Mutants album.
Right.
That's been many years. Snafu's going to kill me, but many years in the making. But it's going to be coming out soon. We're setting everything up for that now, so I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be great, and hope people like it. After that, my man Paul Crash Slaughter. We got an album we're working on. It's going to be crazy, and featured on that is going to be Return of the Devastating too. So we got Russ making an appearance. So that's and we might have some other surprises on that album as well. I don't want to speak on it yet because I don't want to jinx it, but we might have some really good things. But already just with the records we have, it's going to be really dope. So those are the albums I think will be coming out later this year. But then also I'm working on one with AC, the program director.
Oh, out of West Coast.
West Coast.
Yeah.
And he has some fire beats. And we're just in the beginning process of it, but that's on the burner as well. So and I know there's some other stuff I'm just not thinking of right now. But I'm going to be busy for a while to come.
Well, can I talk about this?
Sure.
So after we did this whole trek around North Philly,
how could I forget that one?
Yeah. So C-Doc posts up a picture, and we're looking at the picture, and I said something like, "Yo, these guys look like the usual suspects," you know, the way that and he was like, "Yo, this should be a rap group." I'm like, I'm thinking it's a joke. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in," and then. I think Phil said, "Yeah, what's up, Dip? I'm in." I'm like, "Yo, I called up C-Doc. I'm like, is this a real thing?" He's like, "Yo, let's." Then Too Tough's down for anything.
You know.
And then C-Doc. I'm like, so there might be. I don't even want to say might. I'm not going to speak.
It's going to happen.
It's going to be a group that's called the Unusual Suspects. It's myself, ULTRAMAG7, Phill Most Chill, C-Doc, and DJ Too Tough that will be coming to Spit Slam at some point, but that's coming on the way too. So
yes, sir. Sir. I can't wait. It's gonna be dope.
Listen, I just want to let everybody know it'll be like Brand Nubian. Phil will be like the Grand Poobah. He's the
okay.
He's the Grand Poobah. Let's not go.
Oh boy,
probably me. But no. But anyway,
do you believe in? I was gonna say, do you believe in a flat Earth?
Explain gravity.
I'm gonna just say this, and I'm not gonna get into whatever. Jamar's a 5%er. The father didn't teach that the Earth was flat, so I don't understand what he's talking about.
360 degrees, man. But
listen,
what you gonna
the father
say?
didn't teach that, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Shout out to Lord Jamar, where I always was a fan of his. I don't understand some of that stuff, but it's all
about
good.
This. My middle name is Jamar, so I'm like, yo, he making the Jamars look bad. So Phil, run your socials real quick where people can find you.
Okay, yeah, you can find me on Instagram. So that's Phill Most Chill. You can find me on Facebook. That's Phill Most. TikTok, I ain't really on it for real, but you can find me there too. I forgot, as a Philly Phil 88, I think is called, and Twitter or X.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on there too, man. Yeah, just forget about it. Don't go to X.
He's there. But
don't go to X.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. That's the main thing. I think those blogs are still out there somewhere. Google them, and
right.
but those are the main spots.
Okay. Ranks,
Appreciate you,
got
Phil.
anything?
Oh,
Yeah.
appreciate you
Appreciate
as
you
well,
coming through, man. I just want to hang out and go through your records, bro. I told Hey that earlier. I just want to hang out and go through records. That's it.
Hey, we can do that for real. I'm trying to get rid of stuff, man. So
Okay.
if you want to do it, yeah.
We'll
yeah.
definitely hit you up.
All right.
But
That's
thank
what's
you,
up.
man. Thanks for coming through.
All right. Thanks for having me, you guys. I appreciate
Everybody,
it.
Phill Most Chill.
Yeah.
All right. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you got your fill of Phill Most Chill. But yeah, great episode. A lot of information from Phil. We could have did a whole nother episode. You know, when Phil started talking about all the hip hop history and knowledge that he has and little intricacies, you know, outside the event, we started talking. We were like, Phil, you know, we could do a whole nother episode. So hopefully we'll have Phil back in the future and we can just talk some hip hop history. But you know, thank you for listening. As always, like, subscribe, follow the pages we have on social media. When you're listening to the podcast, you know, download it, like it. That gets the algorithm rolling and lets people know that we're out there. You know, I want to thank everybody that's been listening, all the countries tapping in, everybody in the U.S. And, you know, we're just going to keep on bringing you episodes. So until the next time, I say peace.